My name is Joseph Henning, and I'm President and CEO for the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to our 2021 Annual Awards Ceremony. We're doing things a little different this year, as everybody is. And today we're going to have a quick interview with our 2020 Chair, Christy Tuning, our 2021 Chair, Lincoln Parks. You'll hear a bit from each of them a little bit later. And then we'll also award our annual awards. So please join me in thanking our sponsors. Sit back and enjoy the show.
One year ago, we gathered together to celebrate our 2019 accomplishments, and my journey began as the 2020 Chairman of the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. I encouraged you to belong, engage, lead, and prosper. Little did we know that we were about to face one of the biggest challenges to our lives and businesses due to COVID-19. Many of our grand plans were set aside for the new challenges that faced us in 2020. Before our business practices changed in early March, the Chamber of Commerce was able to celebrate Henry County Day at the Capitol, and we held our Women's Empowerment Summit in early March. When many businesses closed their doors to slow the spread of the COVID-19 virus, we launched TogetherForHenry.com to provide news, resources, and support through this pandemic. Many believed we would go back to normal operating procedures in 2 weeks. By April, we realized that we were in a new normal. Your chamber responded to this new normal by moving to online programming and held over 36 webinars addressing e-commerce, IT concerns, mental health, wellness, and many more. Even though we were pushed to an online world, we were able to accomplish a few things we had set out before COVID-19. Our first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee started, chaired by Carolyn Frazier. This committee developed a community dialogue book club. We invited you, our chamber members, and the community into some eye-opening conversations. The DEI Committee also worked alongside the Henry County Census 2020 team to encourage our residents to complete their census. We supported our school system this past year with our We Are Ready campaign in June. We welcomed 400 new teachers in locations throughout the county at the educator launch. And in December, we participated in the Henry School Heroes campaign. Our Convention and Visitors Bureau remained active in not only marketing our community, but helping our hospitality industry. The CVB launched a Facebook group to share COVID resources with their partners. They started a support local program to promote restaurants offering alternatives to dine-in services. A new visitor's guide was produced and launched. The CVB also started the Help of Henry Hospitality Food Drive to provide food resources for our hospitality workers who were not working during this time. A Henry County Cleanliness Compliance Pledge began in May to highlight hotels and restaurants meeting or exceeding CDC guidelines. To close out the year, the CVB launched an artisan trail to promote local custom gift ideas. Even with all the challenges of 2020, we held ribbon cuttings for 22 new and reopened businesses. We ended the year with 97 new members and a 92% retention rate, showing a 5% growth in membership. As I close out my term as chairman and hand over the gavel to Lincoln Parks, I still believe there has never been a better time to belong to the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. We have helped our members engage in new ways of conducting businesses. You have led by making business decisions with your resiliency in mind. As we move into the next year, Henry County will prosper by supporting one another. Thank you for your support.
Well, 2020 definitely was a year to remember, and we want to look back during this 2020 highlight year in review. And I want to welcome 2020's chair, Christy Tuning, with us today, and as well as 2021's chair, Lincoln Parks. So welcome today. Thank you for joining me. A little bit of a change from what we've done in the past to doing it virtually, as we've done much of 2020. And Christy, let's start with you, because 2020 really wasn't the year that we started with when we started in January, and we had some great ideas, some great plans. And how do you see 2020 happening?
Well, 2020 was absolutely the year of doing everything virtually. We had some great plans to just ease ourselves into the virtual world and start doing a few things online. But when COVID-19 hit, we jumped in feet first, and we're able to do a lot of things online and transition and do things very well. So it was a good learning time for that. And I can probably go down as the first chairman who's never presided in person over a board meeting. But, it really has been, even though with everything going on, it was a great experience, a good learning experience in 2020.
I want to correct you. You were the first one not to chair a board meeting in person in the chamber offices. But I do believe you will go down in history as the first chair to chair a board meeting at the state capitol.
No, that's true.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So that is definitely worth hanging in that hat on. Definitely. As we looked back, and I believe your theme for the year was belong, engage, lead, and prosper.
Yes.
Do you believe that as a chamber, as a community of business employers, and that we were able to do that?
Absolutely. The whole thing with that was that you belong to the chamber. If you're a business owner in Henry County, then you need to be part of the Henry Chamber, that you belong. It's not an exclusive club, that everybody belongs. And if you engage, the more you engage with other businesses in the county and get out and get to meet others in the Chamber of Commerce, then the better you will be. And then lead. We've shown through the programs we did in 2020 that we led, especially our diversity, equity, inclusion committee that we started this year, which we had planned to start, but that has been a great experience with our community dialogues. And then prosper is the last word in that. And just by doing those things, we'll prosper in Henry County.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lincoln, looking at 2020, what have you learned that you don't want to do in 2021?
Well, we had a year of firsts for everything, right? With Christy and being online, and I just feel like we've learned a lot. Some things that we hadn't done before. Just innovating, being able to transition really quickly, and I don't think I would really change much. Because the circumstances dealt themselves to us, and we pivoted, and we were successful at doing that. And Christy was successful in leading that charge, and you, Joe, as the CEO. And so, really, I just want to continue what's already been paved out for me and everybody else. I think how we did that was just so smooth. So I've seen other organizations that it didn't look quite that good, and I know behind the scenes, and a lot of stuff was going behind the scenes. But
a lot of tears.
A lot of tears, a lot of heartache. But I feel like, we were successful in doing that. And, I wouldn't change anything, really.
Wonderful, wonderful. What about looking ahead then? What do we have from 2020 that we definitely want to not necessarily just bring forward into 2021, but what do we really want to move the needle with in 2021? What are your goals?
I would say really unity is my theme, and not saying that we have not had unity before. Unity and togetherness is really my theme. I'd like to see local government continue to unify the leadership there. Also, definitely, we know our secondary and post-secondary, educational systems. They've always been unified, and I want to continue that. With our Leadership Henry programs and our Youth Leadership Henry programs, I want to see if we could continue to just bring those two groups together. So overall, for me, it's just unity, just unifying so many different pieces of Henry County. I know that's already been done. That's been in the works, but I want to see if I can, bring that even a little bit closer.
We still have work to do.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. And Christy, you have about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks as chair, and then you will move over into the chair role for the Government Affairs Committee. Yes. And that's definitely one of the pieces I believe that we've always had a strong political advocacy role within the local and state government in that, but there's been so much more, I think, that we've done over the past year and looking at the year ahead. What are some of those items that we definitely want to highlight looking forward to 2021?
The biggest thing with the Chamber of Commerce and dealing with the governmental affairs part of the Chamber is that we want to be the voice for the businesses in Henry County. It's very bipartisan, and we want to get those issues and talk about the issues that are important to our chamber members. So, we have the virtual conversations with our senators and our representatives, and traditionally we would have done those in a face-to-face format over a breakfast or an afternoon reception. And so it opens it up for more people to be part of the conversation. And I think that's what is most important, is bringing in our chamber members to be part of the conversation.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think that, Lincoln, you alluded to the community dialogues, and Christy to the legislative updates and virtual conversations. And we have really seen an increase in the engagement with members that might not have known how to join the conversation in the past. And so by opening that up through social media and virtually, definitely seen that. The retention was good this year, surprisingly. Growth in the accounts. I think when we look back, we had a really great first quarter in 2020, and really thought that meant that we were going to be doing so many of the things that we had planned. And then we got that middle of the year, But one of the strengths that I think we have in Henry County is not just the location, but the diversity of not just our communities, but of our businesses. And so we really saw that economy stay strong. We did see some unemployment. We did see a few businesses close, but we still saw some great tax revenue coming into SPLOST. We still saw the fourth quarter, our bed taxes for hoteliers, and that was up again. It was over 100%. It was better than it was the year before. And I think that is part of where we all have that unity and that belonging, and that is that the more we can do, the more we stick together, the more that we work together and support each other is how we get through this. Is that?
Yeah, and you mentioned being online and, businesses getting started really through this time. I think as people were home and really if they didn't have a way to actually go to work, or some people might have been laid off from their jobs, people started businesses. So there were a lot of, e-commerce business. There was a lot of, I know through that COVID period where, a lot of restaurants, they had to innovate for now delivery methods and a lot of things happened. So as businesses got started, I think, and then with us being online and having to transition online, we did get a lot more eyeballs on the chamber. So a lot of those people that would have been unaware of what the chamber was doing, now that awareness piece kicked in. They saw what we were doing and they said, "Oh man, this may be a way for me to join, or at least start the conversation, for that." So I think that was huge, just to be able to at least attract some of those businesses through what we're doing online.
Oh, thank you. I commend the leadership of the board, though, too. We rolled into 2020 with a strong program of work and a budget, and knew that, around March, April, that we were stuck dealing with some things that we didn't plan on, and for the board to allow the staff to look at ways that we could still be of service to the broader community. And open that up to more than just the membership. And in some cases, the webinars and that we didn't charge for. Right. We saw that as a community service that we needed to do to support all of the employers in the community. And even beyond that, I think we even took it a step further than just employers. We looked at the community as a whole. We looked at caregivers. We looked at wellness programming and that. And I think, was it 36 webinars that we might have done?
We did 36.
36 webinars throughout the year. Lincoln, you did one on e-commerce to help those that didn't understand what that next step to the pivot was. And we looked at wellness and how to work at home successfully, and brought in some of our home-based individuals that are members. And so it really was an opportunity for us to look deeper at what the role of the organization should be in the community. And then how do we address that? And I think what made it successful was that it wasn't just that internal team of employees just running around trying to figure out what we were doing, but we made partnerships. We expanded partnerships that we had in the past, but we also looked at other partners that we needed in order to succeed and be successful for the members. And I think back to one of one of the ones that we never would play in would be a food drive. But as we continued to see those, the hoteliers that did not have people staying, they were laying off and furloughing their employees, we stepped up, and I believe it was 2 tons of food that the Convention and Visitors Bureau was able to collect to support some of those. And so those are just some of the things that, when I look back at 2020, it wasn't an easy year, but it sure made the value of the chamber come forward for us as well as for our community. When we look ahead at 2021, we've got kind of 4 things that we're really looking at, and that's business recovery, education attainment and workforce attainment, political conversations and the dialogues and that we have, and then equity and inclusion. And I know we've touched on some of those, but why, in your opinion, as leaders, you get the best job in the world now, you're past chair. What are the reasons that we need to look at those 4 topics? Why are those so important to us as a business organization?
I would say number 1, economic development is everything that you just mentioned is putting our best foot forward as Henry County, and the more we educate, and that's education all around, whether it be diversity, equity, and inclusion, working with the school system, having job fairs, things like that. It's educating, and it's putting Henry County's best foot forward to get the businesses here to help support the county.
Yeah, thank you. Lincoln, thoughts?
Yeah, I see as we're continuing to roll these programs out and continue to expand on them, people are just becoming aware of them. People are looking at them and they're saying, wow, this chamber is really doing some things that might have been slow to move before, but now, I mean, it's like everywhere I go, people are talking about, the diversity and inclusion conversations. They're talking about, the stakeholders forums that you guys had. That's the unity piece that I was talking about, and that was already started. I mean, with the school system, the development authority, with the hospital system. I mean, it's all coming together, and I think those are important areas in our community that we need to continue to drive, because people are just interested in it. They want to know more about, what's going on in our community. Before I was even a part of the chamber, I would go to work, come home, and I wasn't aware of anything that was going on in the community because, it might have been behind closed doors. But now, since we've opened that up to the community to be involved in those conversations, I think all for the better. So everybody in the community can know exactly what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah, and I think to what you had said, Christy, with the economic development, it goes right along with community development. And if we don't have that quality of life, we're not going to get the economic development, and we're not going to get the qualified workforce that we need. And so I think I am proud of what we've done over the last year and a half or so, and I look forward to the next several years of how do we continue to move that needle and make sure that Henry County is a beautiful place. It's the place that we all want to live, work, and play. And so I appreciate your leadership in 2020. I look forward to working with you, Lincoln, in 2021, and I'll still continue to work with you on government affairs. But 2020 definitely was a great learning experience for all of us, and I think that the best that we can do is carry that 2020 into 2021. And there's a number of things that we're continuing to expand on, and I look forward to working with all of you in 2021.
Dear Henry County, Henry Ford once said, "Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." The mission for the Chamber this year is one of unity and togetherness. We are looking to unify small businesses through collaborations that will help all businesses in Henry County to thrive. We will actively seek to promote business leaders, identify new small business owners, and create an entrepreneur and innovation hub. Our focus on unity and togetherness in Henry County will require us to continue programs and partnerships that have been successful in the past. The Chamber has a history of supporting and partnering with the county and city governments of Henry County, as well as the Board of Education and other secondary and post-secondary organizations through the many resources available to us. We will continue to develop and implement leadership training opportunities in collaboration with local government for those who wish to be mentored to serve in public office. Successful and popular programs such as Leadership Henry will continue to develop leaders who will represent Henry County in a positive manner, locally as well as regionally. As always, the Chamber will seek unity in our community. We will also focus our support on the improvement of infrastructure, prioritization, funding, and construction through the identification and promotion of shared goals within the county. This will require the Chamber to seek inclusion of all community voices by promoting systems and programs which are available but may be unknown to those in our community who feel their voices are not valued. they are valued. This will allow us to be more effective to promote a positive image internally and externally of Henry County. I would like to emphasize that our mission of unity and togetherness and how we seek to achieve it are not simply boxes to check off. We're not going to look back after a year and say, mission completed. But by continuing the work the Chamber has started by former Chairwoman Chuning, Chairwoman Ponder, and numerous other Chamber board members and previous board chairs, we can make significant progress towards our goals and making amazing things happen by adopting a collaborative mindset as we seek opportunities that will bring us together. Our Chamber has been all about unity this last year. One accomplishment by the Chamber in helping to bring about unity was the creation of the website togetherforhenry.com. If you've not visited that website yet, I urge you to take a look at all the great information that was shared in 2020. Some of the highlights from the website include the following: resources for the CARES grant funds offered by Henry County, Stockbridge, and Small Business Administration, resources for coping with COVID-19 that have helped many find testing centers and other support they have needed during this crisis, numerous helpful and informative podcasts, webinars, including a summer stakeholders forum between the Chamber, the county, the school system, the Development Authority, and our hospital system. That's unity. My personal favorite, the introduction of the community dialogues that took place through our newly formed Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Although these were tough conversations to have, they were and continue to be essential to help promote the healing necessary for people to work together. The innovative thinking by this Chamber and our CEO and staff has done a great deal to reach out to those who would otherwise refuse to engage. That's unity. In spite of the many challenges we faced this year due to the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating impact, we were still able to welcome new businesses through 22 ribbon cuttings and open houses. We also continue to help develop new leaders in our community through Leadership Henry, which graduated 31 new leaders, providing them with the tools necessary to help our community. 42 high school students who will be our future leaders in Henry County were also celebrated. I am also pleased to report that the Chamber's monetary position is still strong in spite of the fact that most of our programming had to be conducted virtually this year. We have managed not to dip into our reserves or downsize any of our programs, in stark contrast to other chambers statewide. This is an amazing feat when we consider the negative impact of the pandemic during 2020. As members of the Henry County Chamber, we have a great deal to be proud of. For those of you that may read this address or see the recording and may not be members of the Chamber and do not know me, I would like to tell you about my personal experience with this organization. When I was laid off from a corporate position in Atlanta over 8 years ago, the very first place I visited was the Henry County Chamber of Commerce to sign my own business up as a member. Since then, I've had the opportunity to meet many great people and form many everlasting friendships. I've also had the chance to work with many thriving professional businesses from our community. I always tell people that what you put in the Chamber is what you get out of the Chamber, and then some. I am urging you, therefore, based on my own experiences, please join us. If you were previously involved but gave up on the Chamber, you're missing out. There will be many opportunities in 2021. Make this year that year you either start fresh or start new, and I promise you won't regret it. In closing, I'm very appreciative and proud of the opportunity to serve as the chairman of the board for the Chamber in 2021. I pledge to serve this diverse community by working collaboratively with our members and partners for the great things we can accomplish together. The fact that in order for us to be successful, we need the involvement and talents of all our members. I sincerely thank you for your dedication to the Henry County Chamber of Commerce, and I look forward to our year of collaboration.
This year, we are honored to recognize 3 individuals and 1 employer who have all represented themselves and Henry County with exemplary leadership and dedication to improving our community. The Volunteer of the Year Award recognizes an individual who has given significantly of his or her time and expertise to the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. From advocating education attainment and increasing communications to eventually serving as chair of the Chamber Board of Directors, we congratulate Sharon Ponder as the 2020 Volunteer of the Year. The recipient of the Billy Carter Public Service Award recognizes a public servant who has rendered services and benefits to the community beyond one's own position. This year's recipient expanded community programs within his own department, but also volunteered on community boards and committees to expand the department's role in Henry County. This year's award goes to retired Sheriff Keith McBrayer. The Citizen of the Year recognizes many years of unselfish service to Henry County. A past chair of the board, a community leader, a public servant, and a former chair of the Henry County Board of Commissioners. We congratulate June Wood as the 2020 Citizen of the Year. Finally, there are so many businesses that could be recognized as the Business of the Year, and the decision was a difficult one. In light of the pandemic, for working with the schools to enhance safety protocols, by leading and communicating and advocating for Henry County's residents during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Henry County Chamber recognizes Piedmont Henry Hospital and its leadership, physicians, staff, and volunteers as Business of the Year. Congratulations to all of our 2020 awardees.
That's okay.
Cleanliness.
Is that right? Cleanliness or
Yes.
cleanliness? It is cleanliness.
What did I say? You know?
Or
It's probably cleanliness. Yeah.
Let's go back.
Yeah. Cleanliness.
I wish.
It was hooked on phonics worked for me as I'm in there. Yeah.
As always, the Chamber will seek to unity. What did I put there? For people to work together. Innovating. I'll get through it, guys.
That's the problem with ad-libbing.